Alright guys, so a handful of people asked me to do a comms video, and I absolutely want to expand on this early next year. However, we're going to start small and simple with a kind of layman's comm system that I know works out of the box and I'm happy to recommend. Alright, so we're going to start with a Baofeng radio because they're super popular. They're really cheap. They got a lot of capabilities in them for what you're paying for. And it's a pretty good starting point. Plus, there's a lot of flexibility in the frequencies that you can use on these things, and it's a little bit, even though the radio itself isn't quite as rugged and potentially not as reliable as something like a used Motorola, you can kind of program it on the fly, which gives you some added capability. Alright, so we're going to start with the Baofeng radio. Pick whichever one you want. Most of them take the same accessories, so it doesn't really matter whether you get dual band, tri-band, or the base model. All right, and then looking at antennas, you're going to want to swap out the antenna, and you can either go with something like the Nagoya, like we've got here, which covers the frequency range really well, or the Abri antenna. They've got the ridiculous 42-inch whip, which there's plenty of testing done by people way smarter on radios than I am, and they work really well. Plus, they look kind of cool. So you've got the Abri option, or my preferred option is something super low profile, like one of these CAATail antennas, the vest-worn antennas that you can weave through your molly. I don't know for sure if this one is CAATail. I've bought a handful of these over the years, and I end up losing them. So get it and immediately mount it in your vest so you don't. But I highly recommend CAATail. Will over there is awesome to work with, and he won't lead you astray. I've used them operationally, the CAATails for sure, and they worked out just fine. Next up, a legit headset. Alright, so if you're doing comms, one, you want your comms to work. Two, there's probably firearms involved, so definitely go with something legit to get the actual ear pro, which does introduce the complication of impedance on your microphone. So the last piece in this puzzle is going to be one of these U94s from Aries Communications on Instagram. All right, he will take a stock 6-pin U94 and he converts it to the appropriate plug, which is the Kenwood 2-pin for your Baofeng radio, and then he'll make sure that the impedance matches so that it flows from the Baofeng through the switch to the headset, the legit military headset, and you have no issues with comms. All right, I tested this on both the Peltors. All right, I get these names mixed up all the time. So the Peltors and the Liberators. I will say the Liberators worked. However, my TCI Liberators here, there's an issue. So the 219 male plug, the shoulder on it is a little bit too big, so even though it fits and it lines up and everything, it doesn't get that last couple millimeters of movement in there to really lock it in place. Now you could fix that, I don't know if you'd want to, by just kind of sanding this shoulder down a little bit. It seems kind of excessive to make it work with a Baofeng, but you could. And then the Peltors have a much thinner shoulder on them, so they pop all the way in there and you get that solid click. Alright, so you're looking at a, I don't know, $30 radio maybe, and then up to a $30, $40 antenna if you're going with the CAATails. You can get the Aries U94s. He has both legit U94s and the Chinese knockoff U94s. That might be what I have, which might be why that shoulder issue exists. I'm not sure, but either way, they're going through his hands first, and he tests them, and I trust him that they work. So this is ranging, I think, upwards of $80 for the legit ones, down to maybe $60 for the knockoffs. I'm not sure. And then this is going to be the most expensive chunk, but it's the actual PPE, which is protecting your ears. So just pay attention to eBay and look for a deal, dual comm, single comm, whatever you can find will work, and that will get you set up for a very, very solid introductory comm setup for not a whole lot of money. All right, thanks guys. I appreciate you guys watching me in 2020, and hopefully we'll do something even cooler in 2021. Thanks.